Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today on our webinar with Doing Business with the City of El Paso. My name is Charlie Lopez, and I am a business everybody. And thank you for joining us today on our webinar with Doing Business with the City of El Paso. My name is Charlie. Okay, I apologize. We're having some technical difficulties, but as I was saying, my name is Charlie Lopez, and I am a business development specialist here at the MBDA Center at our El Paso Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Now, before we get started on our webinar, I'm going to go ahead and speak a little bit about our chamber and what we do here. The vision of the Chamber is to continue to be the core component for the El Paso region in fostering entrepreneurial economic development, where our existing companies are growing, where our entrepreneurs are reaching new horizons, and where our small minority and women-owned businesses are thriving and outpacing all other markets. Some of the benefits here at the Chamber is our in-house business development specialists, our financing and procurement opportunities, our advocacy team who is here to advocate for you and your business, and our networking. Here at the Chamber, we have 3 ETA centers. We have our Women's Business Border Center, which is a joint partnership of the El Paso Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, our MBDA Business Center, which is funded by the U.S. Department of Commerce and operated by the Hispanic Chamber, and our MWEDC, which is funded by the U.S. Department of Commerce and operated by the Hispanic Chamber. If we have any questions during the presentation, please go ahead and leave them down at the Q&A box at the bottom, or if you're watching Facebook Live, please put them in the comment section, and our technical support will go ahead and help us. Now let's go ahead and get started with our webinar. Today we have Ms. Claudia Garcia. Ms. Claudia Garcia is one of the Assistant Directors of Purchasing and Strategic Sourcing for the City of El Paso, with 9 years of governmental procurement experience. She specializes in processing procurements for the capital improvement, streets and maintenance, airport and mass transit departments. And as a strong believer in the power of continuous process improvement, Claudia continually seeks ways to improve internal processes that will move the purchasing and strategic sourcing department towards becoming a stronger and more efficient department. In 2018, Claudia received the Byron Johnson Award from the City of El Paso for her dedication to her work as a procurement professional and attained her designation as a certified professional public officer. She is currently working towards earning her Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification. So with that being said, Ms. Claudia Garcia, we're so excited to have you here as our speaker, and you can go ahead and share your screen so that you may start your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen. I've been working for the city of El Paso for almost 11 years, and it is a pleasure to be here in front of you presenting this information, because we understand that it is very important that our vendors, contractors understand how the city evaluates them while they are under a contract with us. So we're going to be going over the system the city uses to store and evaluate contractors. As you know, the city has a mission, vision, and values. Our strategic plan, it is linked to everything we do here within El Paso. And specifically our department, it is aligned with the Block Vision High Performing Government under goal number 6. Excuse me. And our subsection, it is 6.7 under strategic plan, deliver effective and efficient processes to maximize value in obtaining goods and services. The department has a mission, and that is to facilitate the procurement of goods and services in an open, fair, transparent, economically competitive, and respectful process with the goal of maximizing taxpayers' dollars during promoting and fostering a climate of good business relationships between our suppliers and the city. Something we want to share with you is that every year we submit an application for the Achievement of Excellence in Procurement. And the City of El Paso Purchasing Department has received this award 7 consecutive years. And we're one of the 3 cities that have received this number of awards consecutively. So we just wanted to share that with you, because as mentioned in the introduction, we are strongly believers that continuous improvement will help us get a stronger department, and as a result, help the community better. For this presentation, we have a few objectives that we want to achieve by going over the information. We want to show you what the vendor performance tracking system is. How does an evaluation looks like? We also want to show you the escalation process that will lead to termination if certain things happen during that period of time. We also want to show you the scores we use to evaluate performance and the system we have in place or process from so a vendor contractor can submit a rebuttal for the score that the company is receiving while under a contract. And also want to share with you the benefits of having good scores and, unfortunately, the consequences of not having good scores while performing for the city. So the vendor performance tracking system, it is a system that provides the city with a comprehensive tool for evaluating vendor performance. And this is going to help us to reduce the risk in the award and performance of future contracts. So this is very important for the city. So we really take this seriously. And as I mentioned to you, we created this system a few years ago. So we have a database containing all the scores provided by user departments while contractors are performing under a contract. So it is very important that vendors understand that we evaluate contractors because we want to make sure we are receiving the services we're paying for, because at the same time, those contracts are helping us to serve our community. So the VPR system, it is something that has been put in place in order to achieve this objective. So the VPR, it is a vendor performance report, and this one should be reviewed by the user departments with the contractors that recently received an award, so they can foster and also develop a two-way communication. So in this case, by evaluating, the city user department will be aware of deficiencies, or if they're doing good, like that is the right track to continue. Also, it is very important that the contractor understands what the scope of work under the contract they're performing. They are clear on the expectations, and that we have a budget and there is a schedule. So all these items are addressed with a vendor contractor after the award it is approved by City Council, and then the contract is executed. This system, it is saving or keeping track of all the vendor performance evaluation reports that for contracts that exceed 3,500. So anything above that amount for a contract, the vendor contractor will be evaluated. And we have a scale from 0 to 10. And later on, I will show you the definitions under those points, so you know what is the expectation. Again, all this information, it is provided to vendors during the post-award meeting that a contractor will be having with the user department administering that contract. Also, during this system, as I mentioned earlier, we have a rebuttal process in place, because sometimes user departments probably they are not aware of how impactful this can be. And because a contractor made a small mistake, they are going to be giving score below 7. But they also need to provide documentation. Let's say they do, we send you the VPR, vendor performance report. And then you will have a chance to say, hey, you know what? That below 7, I don't think it is what the way I perform. So this is the documentation that is proving that. And at the end, this system will be the central repository for all the reports we're receiving, as I mentioned earlier. So next, I'm gonna just show you how the life cycle of a contract after award. And we will start with contract award. Then the next step will be the post-award meeting. In this meeting, it is where the user department meets with the contractor, and then they're gonna go over the scope of work, all the expectations, how they have to do it, and all that information should be in your contract. Just so we are clear on everything, how you're gonna be evaluated, and all the things that you need to know in order to perform. The user department will be continuously evaluating performance. So that's why you see this cycle under performance monitoring and progress milestone meetings. So this is a continuous process. Let's say everything goes okay, contractor makes expectations, so the contract will be ready to close out and submit the final evaluation. If we have to give you some feedback, we'll do it. And then the VPR report, the vendor performance report, will be finalized and stored in the system we have. The next slide I'm gonna show you, it is applied when something is not going as expected, when performance is not meeting the standards established in the contract. So you can see how the process works. So how can you get from award to be placed in the ineligible sourcing list? And let me tell you that this is a continuous process, and it was designed to help vendors to meet contract requirements. So we're gonna start again with contract award. The meeting user departments are gonna be having with the contractor that just received an award, just to make sure everything is clear and expectations are going to be met. While evaluating performance during the life of contract, let's say a contractor is not performing according to the contract. So then the user department contract administrator, they will be meeting with a contractor in order to help them improve. Let's say, just an example for a janitorial contract. One of the duties probably it is just to take out the trash every single day. After a few days, the contract administrator realized that this janitorial contractor, it is not taking out the trash every day. So according to the contract, that is one of the responsibilities of the contractor. So then the contract administrator will be meeting with the supervisor to notify them, hey, you know what, according to your contract, you should be doing this, taking the trash out every single day. We have noticed that out of the 7 days of this week, 3 days that didn't happen. So the contract administrator addresses that deficiency with the supervisor, so that can be fixed. So let's say they meet, they agree, yeah, it is a requirement of the contract, so let me make sure it happens. But then it continues happening. So trash is not being taken out. Unfortunately, at that point, after the contract administrator tried to fix the problem with the supervisor directly, that's when purchasing gets involved. Because if the problems are not resolved, then we're gonna move to another process, which is the cure process. In this process, it is a formal process where purchasing will notify you of the deficiencies of the contract, and vendor contractor will have to submit a corrective action plan. So you will be delineating what steps are going to be taken in order so you can meet the requirements of the contract. Then after that, the contractor submits a corrective action plan, including the steps that are going to be taken, the measures that are being taken in order for the performance to improve. So let's say we have the corrective action plan. Then the city will again evaluate performance. But let's say a contractor didn't comply with their corrective action plan. At that point, after so many times of trying to help contractors improve, then we're gonna recommend termination. So once that recommendation it is in effect, that contractor will be ineligible to receive awards for any of our contracts. So you see, it is very important that we continuously keep track of performance while we have a contract with the city of El Paso. And as you could see in my slides, I mean, we have a process in place to help you guys improve if something is not going as expected according to the contract. I don't know if we have any questions. No? Okay. So the next item I'm going to show you, it is the rating. As I mentioned earlier, we use from 0 to 10, 10 being the highest score that you can be getting in an evaluation. So I'm going to zoom you in. So 10, it is excellent. That means that performance significantly exceeds contractual requirements to city's benefit. That means that you did way more than what it was expected under your contract. So we have had vendors getting 10 scores because they have exceeded the contractual requirements. A 9, it is a good score too, but performance exceeds some contractual requirements. So an example that is provided here, it is that the vendor contractor completed a contract below budget or ahead schedule, or they did something extra for the city. 7 to 8, it is a fair score, and that means that the requirements of the contract are met. No less, no more. You're just complying with the requirements of the contract. So in this case, you will be getting between 8 and 7. When we are concerned is when we get VPRs obviously below 7, because that means that a contractor is performing poorly. So it is very important that you pay attention to these details, because and that you are in constant communication with the contract administrator. That everything is being met according to the contract. And sometimes under these, with these scores, obviously, as I mentioned before, we have to ask for a corrective action plan under the cure process. And we have scores from 0 to 4. In this case, it is when a vendor was notified of the deficiencies while performing under a contract and they weren't resolved. That's when we're going to be moving to termination. And unfortunately, a contractor will be put into the ineligible sourcing list, meaning that they are not going to be able to obtain city contracts for future solicitations. Probably some of you have seen our form. This is the way it looks. It includes information pertaining to the contract that we're evaluating. And we have several sections that the user departments are evaluating. So let me just show you. It goes through an approval process, starting with the contract administrator, the department head of the user department, the purchasing director, contract compliance manager. So we can ensure that all the information provided within the form, it is accurate. If we see something that it is not making sense, we go back to the user department to request additional information or clarification before we send this to the vendor. So I'm just going to zoom you in into the form. As you can see, we're evaluating technical performance, management performance, and also contract administration. So as you could see, we are including certain sections that are going to be evaluated. And again, the rating will be from 0 to 10. Just to go into more detail on VPRs below 7, it is very important that you pay attention to your emails, because you will be getting your report from the contract compliance manager email that we have for this specific purpose. You will be getting a complete report attached into this email, and also you will be getting instructions on the rebuttal process. During this process, as I mentioned earlier, you can request a change in score or correction on the report. As I said, sometimes it happens and we gave you an incorrect score or something was not completely accurate. So you have a chance to review the information and then let us know if something it is not, or that you don't agree with your score. So you will need to submit the rebuttal form, provide backup or justification, so we can review the information again. Something very important, and you have this information in the form, is that you only have 7 calendar days to respond or to review a VPR. So please provide us with an email that you are going to be checking continuously, because we have had some instances where we're sending correspondence based on the information we have, and a contractor didn't get a chance to review the information within these 7 days. So it is very important that you give us accurate information and an email that you are checking constantly. If you don't see it, if you miss the deadline, that's it. We don't have a process in place for appeal or additional time. So it is very important that you continuously check your emails if you know you're going to be getting a vendor performance report. So this is how the form looks like. If you get a score below 7, you're going to be getting this form with the VPR. And again, as soon as we receive the information, we sit down, we review the information, and we meet with the user department just to confirm or change the scores depending on the information received from a contractor or a vendor. So why is this so important? Because if you have a score below 7, the city will be deeming your company as non-responsible. So what does this mean? Well, it means that a responsible bidder, it is a qualified bidder with the lowest or best price, and whose business and financial capabilities, past performance, and reputation meet the required standards. So if you are deemed non-responsible, that means that you are not a responsible bidder, and we cannot award any future contracts to your company. So that's why it is very important that you pay attention to this evaluation and all the emails that you should be getting from contract administrator when deficiencies are noted. So we're going to be going in front of City Council. So this determination, it is approved by them. So let's say you're deemed non-responsible. So that means that you're not going to be able to get awards for any future contracts. And if there is, you still have an existing contract and it has options to extend, the city will not be exercising those options. And again, the result is that because you are in the ineligible sourcing list. But by having good scores, you will be considered a responsible bidder, and you're not going to have any issues if you meet the criteria for any future solicitations to be awarded multi-year contracts, and also the option to extend contracts that you probably have with that extension of a contract. So I don't know if we have any questions about the vendor performance report or system.
So we do have a question here. It says, are you able to speak to the RFP criteria for scoring and the city of El Paso performs when the contracts are being awarded?
Yes, that is a little bit out of the topic we're discussing today. But a solicitation, let's say an RFP, it is including the criteria that will be evaluated. Let's say we have an RFP for a medical system. So the solicitation will be including all the factors that are considered for evaluation, price being one of them, and all the other factors relevant to that particular service we're looking for. So after a solicitation, it's advertised and the deadline passes, the purchasing department will be evaluating the responses received for that RFP solicitation, and a committee will be evaluating the responses received. So they will be evaluating your response against the criteria included in the solicitation. So it is very important that contractors that are interested in submitting a response for an RFP understand what we are looking for and also provide the information required in order to evaluate them.
Okay, great. We actually have one more question. I have been able to win and complete a sole source federal contract on Fort Bliss back in 2018. I would love to contract with the city, but I'm having a hard time finding one I can compete on. Is there further information I can gain to become a tried and trusted contractor for El Paso? And is there estimating guidelines for subcontracting as an electrical contractor?
Can you repeat from the second part of the question, Shirley?
Yes. Is there further information I can gain to become a tried and trusted contractor for El Paso? And is there estimating guidelines for subcontracting as an electrical contractor?
Okay, so the city of El Paso hosts all open solicitations for the public in general. So if you're interested in any of those open solicitations, you are more than welcome to submit a response to any of those solicitations. Let's say we are awarding an RFP, just following the prior example, your response will be evaluated. And if you are the highest rank, we're gonna be recommending award for that contract to your company. Yes, all our opportunities are posted online. And then the last part of the question, Shirley, please.
Is there estimating guidelines for subcontracting as an electrical contractor?
We only have that requirement applicable for TxDOT funded projects for construction, where the prime contractor needs to perform 30% of the work, and then the 70% remaining can be performed by subcontractors. But that's the only requirement we have for subcontractors and prime contractors perform. It is a 70-30, meaning that the 30, it is the prime contractor has to perform at least 30% of the scope work. Any other solicitations, we don't have that requirement. So it is more related to funding.
Okay, that's all the questions for right now, Ms. Garcia.
Okay, well, if you have any questions after this presentation, please go ahead and let us know. You can let us know directly, or you can contact the Hispanic Chambers and they will reach out to us so we can help answer all your questions. And I just want to take a moment to have a special guest because we have an announcement that we want to share with you guys. So Amy will be giving us some important information for the city of El Paso.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Can y'all hear me okay? Yes, perfect. Okay, so we are excited to say that next month, May 5th to be exact, we're celebrating the How El Paso First Month. And it's really a celebration of the 7th anniversary of How El Paso First. As some of you might know, or some of you might not, How El Paso First is a local bid preference program that the purchasing department manages within the city. It provides a bid preference to certain projects, to certain contracts for certified businesses. So either as a tier 1 certified business or a tier 2 certified business. So we're really aiming at promoting economic opportunities for local businesses. You can actually find more information on How El Paso First on our website. Again, look up City of El Paso, go to purchasing, and it's one of the How El Paso First tabs. But just for this slide specifically, we're having a month full of events with our partners. I'm actually adding the link to the chat in case anybody is interested in just looking at the events that are available. Some of the events that will be going on are focused on certifications, like how to get certified with the SBA, the Contract Opportunity Center. Hispanic Chamber also has an event at the end of the month, which is how to do business, but with the County of El Paso. So there's a lot of great events going on during that month. And we really wanted to highlight a lot of what's already been happening, with our partners, what they have been doing to really help promote the growth of businesses, have them teach about the benefits of being certified. So again, I put the link on the chat. You can also find it on our website. So just please, if you can, take a look at it, see what interests you. Most of the events are free. There's maybe like 1 or 2 that you do need to pay a small fee, but most of the events that are happening are free. And again, we're just trying to promote as much as we can some of the events happening throughout the month and even further on with our partners. So if y'all have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me as well. I'll go ahead and include my email in the chat as well. But that is all, and thank you all so much.
Yeah, Amy, and we really hope guys to see you in any of our events next month because we are preparing very important information for you. And just at the end of the presentation, you have our contact information just in case you have any questions after this presentation. Again, thank you so much for attending this session.
Thank you again, Ms. Garcia. If anybody has any further questions for Ms. Garcia or Ms. Olivas, please go ahead and leave them in the chat at the bottom. I am going to go ahead and touch on our webinar, as Ms. Olivas has mentioned, that you can register with us at the Hispanic Chamber. You can call here and ask for Linnea Trujillo, and she'll go ahead and register you for our How to Do Business with the County webinar on May 19th. And it doesn't look like we have any more questions. If there is any other questions, please contact Ms. Garcia or the Hispanic Chamber and we'll go ahead and assist you. Thank you again, Ms. Garcia and Ms. Oliva.